Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Perf Sprint for Web. This is going to be the third session on this whole event, wherein we have Tarun Mangukiya, who will be talking about Vue. And before he starts with his session, let me give you a brief overview of what All About Web is all about. So I'll just share my screen. All right, so we are an awesome community of web developers, and that's more or less of our mission as well. We want to create an amazingly vibrant community of web developers around the world. We want people to be the part of the community, and we also want them to feel empowered and welcome. Our goal is to work with several web technologies out there, and that's why we have a lot of different tracks throughout the events that we organize, and it completely revolves around the web. So we have different tracks for things like front end, wherein we talk about Angular, React, Vue, Svelte, and HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And then we also have a backend track wherein we talk about Node.js, Dino, Python, Go, Java, PHP, etc. And then we have a session for tools like Docker, Kubernetes, GCP, Azure, and AWS. And we also talk about techniques like the build, bundle, performance, and SEO. Today's session is all about performance. And so the performance would be somehow related to just the front end. So we have sessions, we already have had sessions about Svelte and Angular, and this session is about Vue. Let's meet the team. So we have Ashok Vishwakarma in our team, who is a Google developer expert based out in India. We have Gaurav Chauhan, who is the founder of the Youth Project. Then there's me right here. I'm Siddharth Ajmera, and I'm the Google developer expert based out in Australia. And we also have Srishti Jain, who is a senior developer at Advantage Technologies. And we are social. So we have our website, and it's called allaboutweb.org. So please feel free to check that out. And we also have links to all our different social channels right there, like Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. So please feel free to like, share, and uh, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the videos, and share it with your friends. I hope these videos will be really helpful to you when it comes to some knowledge that you might gain out of them in Angular. Now, about this event, it's called the Perf Sprint for Web, and this can be considered as just one episode out of the many different episodes of such event that we will be hosting around performance and web, wherein we will be covering a few tips, tricks, and some wisdom from some of the really experienced developers out there, and how they can help you with performance and optimizations when it comes to building applications in Angular, React, Vue, and Svelte, and other front-end technologies, as well as back-end technologies. So this is the whole agenda for today, and we already have had the sessions by Matthias and Santosh. But just in case you didn't get a chance to attend them, you can still watch the pre-recorded sessions for these specific sessions. The link to these sessions are right here on this slide. So this one is by Matthias, wherein he was talking about effective data visualization in D3 when it comes to building it in Svelte. And there was also a session going on by Santosh Yadav, who's a Google developer expert for Angular. And so you can watch his session right here on this link, wherein he talks about optimizing an Angular apps, apart from a few tips and tricks that you can use in order to build more performant apps. And then this session that we have is about building web applications using Vue.js. And our speaker for today is Tarun Mangukiya. He is the co-founder and CTO of Iconscout. And yeah, I guess that would be all from my end. Over to you, Tarun.
Am I live?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so let me start like a little bit of introduction of myself. So, hi everyone, I'm Tarun Mangukiya. As Siddharth told, I'm co-founder and CTO of Iconscout, and I have worked with mostly JavaScript, Vuejs, Docker, DevOps, and CI/CD, and many stuff. Right, so that is about me. I love coding, solving problems, reading, and traveling. You can connect me while the session or after the session on Tarun Mangukiya on Twitter and all the social media. Okay, so today's session is basically, a little bit of introduction of what is Vue, right? How can you use Vue effectively? We'll also create a sample or demo application in which we'll make some of the API calls, and we'll try to get introduction of what can be your folder structure, or what can be your architecture that you can use, right, for building your enterprise application, right? So all like the full Icon Scout, if you check our website, so it is built on top of Vue.js, right? So we have around more than 250 landing pages plus which is being powered by 400 plus components those are written in Vue.js, right? So you can also ask me about I think mostly anything related to Vue.js. Okay, so let us start about like why Vue.js. I mean, there are tons of library, and why specifically why I preferred Vue.js, right? So even since beginning, or even since last 10 years, I suppose. Last 10 years, I used to write the web apps in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then jQuery and stuff, right? So honestly, I love HTML5 and CSS3, right, and to play with JavaScript, right? So I try to use all other technologies, but in Vue, when you talk about Vue, so Vue is all about writing core HTML and writing the native CSS and JavaScript. Right? You don't have to modify. You don't have to learn new technology to write applications in Vue. Right. So that is something very good advantage. Right? So it's like if you have an index.html5 created in HTML, you can just copy paste it in Vue and it will work out of the box, right? You can bring out any JavaScript that you have written in traditional application. You just copy paste it in Vue and it will work, right? So that is the beauty of Vue, and that is I basically love Vue.js and stuff, right? So mainly Vue.js allows you to write your any web app, or large scale or small scale, any web app in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? You can use SCSS, Lace, TypeScript, and many other features that are available in Vue.js, right? So, if you talk about typical, okay, if you talk about typical code structure, wait, why is it not visible? Okay, there is some problem. Okay, no issue. My screen is there. Let me, font size is good. Okay. Yeah. So if you talk about the typical Hello World application, right? So it looks something like this, right? So we have three parts, as I told you. HTML. This is the bottom bar is style, the CSS, and in the middle we'll write the JavaScript, right? So as Vue.js is basically a progressive web framework, right? It provides us to bind the data to our HTML, right? So this is a sample data called message that we have binded to H1 tag, right? And when you run this program, it will just show H1 and hello world in that, right? So it's very easy. Like the normal HTML you write, you put your HTML over here, your index.file, and you just put your JavaScript over here, it will work, right? You can copy paste your CSS over here. Right. So it's a very unique thing that I loved about, or that I love about Vue.js. Right. Apart from that, building web apps are not just about writing HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Right. It's also about right. So we moved from earlier what the case was that backend engineers used to give us all the routes and all the build URLs. Right. Now when we as a front end we are controlling the URL, so we'll need something which using which we can build the URLs, right? So we'll need some package which is a router, which works as a which parses the parameter easily, right? So for that we will be using Vue router, right? Apart from that, we also need a global storage or global variables where we store, let's say, user information, their settings, and many other things, right? And based on that, our app will update, Right. So HTML CSS is there, which is a which is called Vue. The hello world example I show you, that is Vue. Right. Apart from that, the important packages that you use to build any large scale or any small scale application, those are Vue router and vuex. Right. And yeah, so this is Vue. I mean, it's very easy to try. It's a library, right? But when it comes to building a large application, we'll need a router, we'll need some other things, right, and many more things, right? Then I think the session or all about web guys are doing is mostly about performance optimization, right? So we need something out of the box which has inbuilt performance optimized, right? So when you talk about the framework that is built on the top of Vue is NuxtJS, right? So what NuxtJS provides us is that it has Vue.js, then it provides Vue router, Vuex, server-side rendering, right? So if you know, there is a thing called server-side rendering also, right? Then we will need some middleware, right? So there might be some of the routes which we want to protect, or we may want to do something when that route gets open. Let's say we want to put some analytics and stuff, right? So that is something that is inbuilt in the Nux.js, right? And there are other things which are called Nox Modules. So if you find, let's say, you want to use Axios or Fetch library, right? So all most of libraries do have their Nux modules inbuilt available, right? That is developed and managed by Nux.js community, right? Then there is a support for plugins. I'll show you how the plugin works, right? So, and on the top of this, the most important thing is that all of these things are optimized, right? So if you are not using Vue router, or let's say if you are not using Vuex, so it will be disabled by default automatically, right? At the time of build, right? You can tell whether you want to make a single page application or you want to make it SSR friendly, right? And so that is the beauty of Nux.js framework, and I mostly use Nux.js framework for my all of my applications, right? If you let us try out a sample application on how we can create using Nux.js, right? So this is not, yeah. So this is the application that we'll be building today using Nux.js and writing the code in Vue.js, right? Okay, so let me go to my terminal. Okay, I'll go to, okay. Uh, okay, so there is command called npx create Nux.js. Let me just open up getting started page. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay. So we'll use this command the same way we have create React app, the same way we have create Nuxt app command, right? So where is my terminal? Okay, yeah. So I'm create Nuxt app, AWB. That's all about web, view demo. Okay. Okay, so for when we create this app, it will ask us some of the inputs like what do you want and what do you want to include in the initial application. We will just fetch some of the details.
Tarun, can you increase the font size a bit, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Is it visible?
A little bit more, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, this
Okay,
looks good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
thanks.
So the project name, let's keep AWB. Sorry, it's all about web or AAB, is it? Okay.
It should be AAW.
Yeah, sorry, all about web, AAW.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay, so you can select your programming language. If you are good with TypeScript, you can use TypeScript. I usually use JavaScript only, so I'll go with that for now. Then your package manager, I'll go with npm. Yeah, so UI framework, if you want to use, let's say, Tailwind CSS or Bootstrap View or nDesign or anything, yeah, so you can just select it from while building the application. So I'll go with Bootstrap View for now, and I'll also show you where it's been configured automatically. This is there. Okay. We want, okay, so we need Axios to make API calls, but we'll skip it for now and we'll try to install it manually later on. Okay, so we'll ignore this now. I don't want linting for now. Testing, no. Yeah, so this is the mode, rendering mode, universal or single page application. Let's go with a single page application. And deployment target, is this a static website, for example, which can be deployed to Netlify or let's say even S3, or this is something which needs Node.js thing, right? So I think we'll keep whatever we want. I mean, anything for now. It won't matter. Okay. And let us wait for it to get configured. Okay, so the beauty of NuxtJS is that there are many inbuilt optimizations which has been enabled by NuxtJS itself, right? So even if you build, let's say, 10-page or 20 or 30-page applications, so there will be very limited things which you will need to take care to optimize your application, right? So your bundle size won't increase like drastically, right? While if you use Vue.js by default, so everything you will have to optimize on your own, right? So I think even if you host this blank Nuxt.js application on anywhere if you host it, you will get Google page speed 100 out of 100, right? So this is not, I mean, this being a framework, this won't be an issue for performance and speed because I'm using it, right? Okay, it's ready. Yeah, let's go to. I have written a wrong name, but that's fine. Okay, let's open it in VS Code. Okay, yeah, there you go. Siddharth, should I increase the font size over here? This is good.
Maybe if you could open a code file
Yeah,
and
sure. Index.view, let us click.
yeah, can you please increase it a little bit?
Yeah, sure. This
Yeah,
will be,
this should be fine. This should be
yeah,
fine.
this will be a way too much for me, but yeah, that's fine. Okay, let us run the application npm run dev. Okay, let's see what is the default this thing. And we have installed Bootstrap view. It will take some time. Okay, I still know. And yep, this is good. Okay, so let us go into this file and check what is the code. So this is the code. This is how it looks like. As I told you, there is template which is purely HTML. There is script. We haven't done anything in the script yet, and there is a style, right, where we can write any style we want. Okay, so let us try to change some code. Hello world, I think, and save, and it will work. Right, so this is there. Let us try to add even, let's say, console log, right? So there is a method called mounted, right, which gets called when the HTML DOM gets mounted to the web browser or our page, right? So at that time, let us call console.log hello from console. Okay, and let's see if this works. Inspect console. Let us reload the code. Yeah, there you go. Let me show you it. Sorry, yeah, here it is. Right. So our any normal JavaScript code can run easily directly in the view, right? And up if you see on the top, so we have used div. Then yeah, this is a component, so it will be custom. But then h1 class, everything is normal as we use anchor and everything, right? So you can put up just your any HTML and it will work out of the box. Okay, let us try to make API calls, right? Or let us see if we can, customize this button to Bootstrap style. So let us remove the below CSS. I suppose there will be a button in here. Uh, it might be there somewhere else. I think might need to remove it. Okay, it's there in the default. Let's remove it from here. Okay, so let us give btn button class basically. Button primary btn info. So default bootstrap class, and let us see if it's working. Okay, so our bootstrap CSS is there, and yeah, it's there. It's been applied. Okay, so let us see from where it's been applied. Right, we selected it while creating the app. right? But what we if we want to modify it, right? So there is a file called nuxt.config.js, right? This is a source of all the things that you can do, or all the things that you selected while creating the app, right? So we selected mode, we selected target, right? There were target slash static and server, right? Then yeah, these are the metadata. So Vue has SEO thing in builds. They have implemented this too. Sorry, Nuxt.js, right? And when you scroll it down a little bit, you'll find I told you something related to modules, right? So these are the modules, right? And in that we have selected Bootstrap View, so it's been enabled by default. Let us try and comment it out for a while, and let's build it. Saved, and it's building. And I think this will go, or if it doesn't, then we'll just refresh the page. Yeah, it's gone. The CSS is gone now. Okay, this is gone. And let's re-enable it because we'll need it to create good UI. Okay, let us go and create search page. So we'll try to make some API calls, right? So let us write the code on our own. So we'll use template. We'll have script block, and we'll have CSS. Okay, these three blocks will be there. Okay, and we want to make an API call, so we'll need NuxtJS XUS module. Okay, we'll go there and we'll just install the module. Let me install it from my CLI. And where is my terminal? There you go. XUS. Okay, npm install. What is the code for that installation? Yeah, there. It will be installed in a while. Okay, minimal. Let's configure it to use globally on across all the pages. So we'll have to add it to our modules. Okay, so they have given the example over here, modules, and we'll add them. And yeah, it will throw an error because we do not have that module yet. It's being installed. Yeah, it's ready now. Wait, I'll just move this desktop. So there's okay, cool. Let us run npm run dev again. Okay, it's running. And let us make an API call. So yeah, for making API call, which we want to fetch the data before the app is ready, right? So we'll use fetch function for that, which is there in Nuxt.js, right? So fetch, then let's make constant response is equal to this dot dollar $xus dot get. Okay, I'm using my own API that I have, iconscout.com slash v2 slash search. Okay, and let us just use console.log response. Okay, and let's see what is an output. Can we see anything in the? Okay, we'll have to change the route. Yeah, so in the Nuxt.js, as I told you, there are many things inbuilt. So view router is one of them, right? So you can create the file name you create. Let's say in the pages I have created search, right? So now this page will be accessible by uh, localhost 3000 or whatever your host is, and then search. Okay, and the beauty of Nuxt is that these are the pages, both of them are optimized, right? So if you import anything over here, let's say a very large module, right, from let's say even D3JS, right? So it won't be affected to other pages, right? So routing is by default optimized in Vue.js, right? So you won't have to do anything for that. Right, so okay, routing is there, and let us see. Okay, yeah, there is a promise, so I'll have to wait for this function to get completed. I use await async, and yeah, okay, good. And let's see if we have an output. Yeah, we have received a data right in the network call. Okay, the data will be something like it will have an icon response, like this is icon API of Iconscout. Okay, so it does have like how many? Too many. Okay, around 60 icons in the list. Okay, so let us do one thing. Let's create a variable data that we will all the reactive variables will be inside the data, right? So data will return. In the hello world example you saw earlier, we used message variable, right? So in this thing we'll use items variable, which will be an object, and we'll store the response over there, right? So this dot items is equal to, okay, so my response will be a response dot data, and then we are also responding one more. I mean, just parse the JSON response, and then what is the uh, response dot data dot response dot items. Okay, cool. And let us just print items over here. Okay, so this will print all the data in the items over here, right? So this is one of my best, or one of my debugging method. Whenever I don't want to use any dev tools, I'll just put the variable over here, like we do with console log, right? So you see the full response is available over here, right? And this is as this will be an array, so let us give ULLIs so that we can have a better idea. Okay, ULLI. And yeah, so in vuejs there is a directive, we call it directive, right? So we want a for loop right over here. So for loop you can use v4, in which we will give we can use for loop like the traditional way that we can do, that the way we do is JavaScript, right? So we have data in items.data. If you look closely at the data, so in the items.data we have the original array, right? So I'm iterating through items to data, and I'm printing item dot name over here. Okay, and I'll remove it. I don't need it anymore. Just some more indentation cleaning work. Okay, done. And let us see. And yep, there you go. Okay, you want to add a loading, so let's try to do that. We if Okay, sorry. H1, let us just put loading as a text for now. You can use any type of hybrid UI you want. V if, so this is V if used for if else, right? V4 is for loop. Okay, so condition will be uh, uh, you can also use items or something, items dot data or something, but there is for fetch method there is a variable called fetch status dot pending. Okay, if that's pending, then we will show loading. Otherwise, using v else will show our data. Okay. Uh, uh, Suppose I missed the variable name. Yeah, I think so. Fetch. Yeah, fetch state. The variable name is wrong. Yeah. Yeah. See, it will show loading, and yeah, the data. When the data is here, it will show the results. Right, so this is pretty easy to do, right? Let me just add a little bit of UI in this thing. I'll just get the UI from, or maybe let us create a component first, right? And then we'll apply the UI. Okay, so let me go to the folder structure for that. Documents, all about web. Yeah, this one. Okay, yeah. So NuxtJS has one the pages folder that we used right now. We used Nuxt config file, right? There is one more folder called components over here, right? In which we can create our own component, which we can use for loops or to import anywhere across the site, right? So let us create one more file in component. See, there is logo component already there, which has SVG over here and some style. Okay, so let's create a component item template dot view. Okay, and again template view. I'll just use item dot name over here, and I'll use it in H4 for now, so that we can differentiate whether this component has been import it successfully or not. In the script, yeah, so this item we'll need to get it from our search page, right? We will have to pass it from over here, right? Let's do first one thing. Let's import that component in our search page. Import item template from components and item template view. Okay, we'll have to tell view that we have imported a component. So we'll pass them to components over here, and sorry, it's item template. Okay, and now you can use this item template anywhere. So in the li, let us put item template, and I'll pass item as a variable. Right, the same way we write HTML attributes, this will be the same. It's just there. We will have to bind the data, right? So we can use v dash bind, or we can use colon. I will remove this name over here, and let us just save. Oh, this won't work, obviously. Yes, because we have passed the data, but we haven't told our component to import to use the data, right? So I'll also have to tell my component, hey, this is the property. Right? So I'll tell it item, and the item type is object. Okay, then I can use whatever I want over here. Right, so let me try to reload this thing. And yeah, so it's, I think it's h1 or something. Yeah, h4 is that, right? We use h4. Let us change it to h1 for now to know it works. Yeah, it's working. Okay, so our component has been imported successfully. Okay, now let me add up a little bit of css in this thing, and we'll continue to add more features. Where is my other code? Okay, yeah, there is the css. Okay, and yeah, so this is pretty big. I'll have to apply more rows and columns over here. Let me copy paste that too. I'll have to give some proper css, right? So there you go. See, all the data is here. I have used image from the property, then Twitter, and the name is here. View details buttons I have added so that we can open up a pop-up. Right, and I'll just replace this code with my code to make it look good. Where is that? Anything issue? The icon template. Okay, some other issue. Let us just reload the screen. Mhm. Okay, the name is wrong. So, hope it works. Yes, now it works. Okay, so we have created a component, applied some bootstrap card CSS, added view details, and let us add a model over here using on click of button. Right, so we are using bootstrap view. Let us find a model from there. Model. Do we have a model? Yep, we do. Okay, this is good, and we'll use this model. Okay, so I'm using this B model and adding it to our item template component, right? So I used B card model earlier to give this beautiful UI of the card, right? And now I'll use B model. Okay, now on click of button, I have to show this model, right? So what I'll do is I'll create a variable in this template component, that is data. Okay, yeah, data always returns. Right, so data show model. Okay, show. Let's keep it show false. Okay, and on click of button, yeah, there is show is equal to true. We'll make it show true. Okay, and we'll have to tell our model when to get visible, right? So I'll tell it visible on the basis of show. So again, show is a variable over here. We are adding one more property or attribute. We are passing it to B model, and we are binding that property. Okay, so let us save this thing and see if this works. Yeah. Yep, there is a model. Right. Now let us bind the data. So in the title, this is the static steps, right? We want to do it dynamically, so we'll bind it to the variable. So this is colon is bind, and we'll give it item dot name. Okay, and let me reload the screen. The reload is not required, but just okay, yeah. So there is a Twitter. Okay, if we go laptop, let us see laptop. Yeah, it's there. Let's just see. Click. Yeah, the title has been changing dynamically. Okay, so this is good. Okay, now let me again add image over here and some more data so that we can see both the components are different. Okay, so I'll just copy that data from my other component. Yeah, it's just static data. See, image h5, h5, and h6 and stuff. Okay, so I'll just copy paste it and it will work, I think. Sorry, a bit of reload this here. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so there is an icon, the price is there, the license is there, and there is one more information is there. Right, so we have we have made an API call, then we have added a model to those responses, right? Now let's play a little bit with our router, right? Because we haven't parsed, so we want to allow users to search using let's say query, right? So in our API call, let us change something in the search call. Let me use word wrap. Okay, yeah. So we are not passing any variable. Okay, so let us pass a variable. Query is equal to, okay, and I'll just convert this to template string literals basically. Okay, so all the data that is there in the route or query that will you will be able to access using route dot query. Okay, now inside query we have q variable, right? So I'll do dot q. Okay, and if there is nothing passed, we'll just make it default as it's a blank. Okay, and save the page and let us wait. So it should show us Apple results. Yeah, it's there. Okay, let us find business. Yes, this is there. Okay, so we will be able to get all the beautiful icons for business now. Okay, now let's create a new bar. Let's just copy new bar from Bootstrap view again. Where is new bar? There you go. And yeah, I'll just copy paste this new bar code, and I'll create one more component named new bar. Let me big this thing a little bit. Okay, yeah, in the components I'll create new bar dot view. Okay, I'll create a template file. I'll just remove this T. I don't need. I do need a new bar only. Okay, I'll give all about web search. Okay, and then we don't need other links. I'll remove them to form. Let us move form. So by default in the UI, we are seeing form on the right. Let us move it to left. This is fine. Okay, and some indentation work. I'll remove this translation stuff. Let us keep user over there. Okay, and now we have to import this neighbor to our search page. Right. So again, the same thing. Import new bar from components and new bar dot. Okay, I'll use this thing. New bar. New. Sorry. Okay, this is good. And where is my code? Yeah. Now we have a beautiful new bar. Okay, let us add a code to to change the query string, right? So for that, we'll have to go to navbar. Here we go. We have a nav form over here, which is a form. You can use normal form over here too, right? We don't. This is the example by Bootstrap view, so they will use Bootstrap view form, but you can use any normal form over here. But that is fine, right? And on submit of this form, we will call a function called on search, right? And as we have to prevent the default behavior. So if you usually what happens in HTML is that if you search for anything or the form gets submitted to the URL, right? We have action and stuff, right? So I'll just prevent those things, right? So we have to prevent browser default code over here, right? What this will do is it will just prevent the default thing to get executed, and it will call a search on search function. Okay, we do not have script block over here, so let us add script block. and this is a method, right? So Vue.js has this multiple parts: mounted, methods, computed, data. Right? We use data and props we used. So let us use methods. Okay, in method we have to create one search method, and let us do console dot. Let us just alert over here. Hi. Okay, and we have to check whether the form does not get submitted. Like refresh the screen. So yeah, that's happening. Okay, so on search click, we'll have to pass this textbook data to the to the route, right? View router. Okay, so first I'll have to take the data from my input box, right? So this is called two-way binding, right? So what we want is we want to update the value inside the text box, inside this component, as well as in our component, right? So this is called two-way binding. No, sorry, no, this is not a two-way binding. In Vue.js, we call it we do it using V model, right? So what we have to do right now is let us create one more variable called data. Sorry, not query. Sorry, queue. We will do it as a null, right? We want to pass that queue inside to the tag checkbox, and whenever the checkbox gets updated, we want to update our variable, right? So for that we use modeling. Right, so I'll write it as a V model and queue, just queue. Okay, and let us see whether the queue gets updated as soon as we type something in the text box. So I'm printing the queue over here for now. Okay, and I hope we'll be able to see queue somewhere. No, we can't. Wait, let me put it out. Or let us put queue in the search box, search over here directly in the title. Okay. So there is null. Let us write home. Yeah, so it's working, right? So as soon as we are updating the value inside the text box, the outer variable also gets updated. Right? So that is called modeling, right? So that is something we can do using V model, or there are many more. Uh, uh, Basically, what happens here is that the text box data gets updated, and it passes an event to the parent. Right. So this is done, and let us. So now we have to pass this queue variable to the routes. Okay. So what we will do is let us push this thing. So we have a variable called this dot dollar router. Okay. Then we can push a route. Okay. What is the name of a route? So our route name will be the name of our file in the pages directory, right? So we want to go to search page. Okay, this is for if we are on multiple pages, then we need to navigate to the search page, right? So we'll name it the search page, and then in the query, queue will be this dot queue. Okay, so if you see over here, we are writing this when we are in JavaScript, but when we are in the Vue.js, we do not write this because it's by default, right? So this is basically, whatever the variable is there inside the script block, you will be able to access it over here directly without without writing this, right? So this will push Q to the URL. Okay, so let us check whether this works. I'm writing home over here, and yeah, if you see my URL is getting changed. You might need to. Can I zoom in over here? I think I won't be. Yeah, I won't be able to zoom in over here. Okay, so Q gets passed. Let us write something long over here. Yeah, so my URL has been changed. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to tell I have to refresh the data when the URL gets updated. Right. So for that we have to watch that variable. Right. So in let us go to our search page and watch a variable. Right. So what? How can we watch? You write a watch over here, and then write a variable name. Right. So it's route dot params. Now this is in query. Okay, so route dot query, and then in that function we will call this dot dollar fetch. Right. This is a global method. So if you have a one more method over here, which is inside method, right, and you have given it, let's say, on search, right? So for this you will have to write inside whenever you want to call any method inside methods, this thing, so you will have to do this dot directly, right? But when you want to call something that is fetching the data, or that is the fetch method, right? So you will have to use dollar for this thing, right? This is frameworks method, right? This is not or defined method. Right, so this will update, this will recall the function, right? So whenever the data gets updated, obviously there is no response. Let us search home. Yeah, we do have Apple. Yep. Twitter. Yes, this is working. Okay, so this is how you can build your whole application using Vue.js, right? And as I told you, if you look at bundle optimization thing, right? So let me go to home page. Yeah, let me add a search box over there so that I can navigate to this page. I'll just take my navbar and item template. Yeah, navbar here, there, and components navbar. Okay, and let me I'll remove this container because my screen will be small again. Neighbor will be smaller. Okay, let us try to search home. So from this home page, I'm going to search page, and yes, this one is working. Right. So this is good, and let us check like whether our bundle is also optimized or not. So I'm reloading the screen, and I'll keep watch on this thing. Okay, I'll clear this part. Okay, so right now the only the index page has been fetched. Okay, let me search something and you will see there will be a JavaScript call over here. The new JS will be loaded. Right. So when you check with Vue NuxtJS, all your bundle files are optimized, right? Bundle files as in all your routes are optimized, right? So whenever the search page is loaded, then only it will load search code. So we have saved like 64 KB out of the box by just using NuxtJS. Right? If you do this using Vue.js, so you will have to do optimization, or you might have to use Webpack import methods and stuff. Right. So this is inbuilt, and this is something we can easily utilize. I mean, we don't have to do anything. Right. There are also multiple other methods which you can optimize. For example, we are loading NuxtJS or Bootstrap View globally over here, right? But we need XUS in the search page only, right? So for that, we can, removing that from modules and importing it manually or in our pages, we can optimize our XUS also. Right. So right now, if the bundle is loading, let's say it's commons is 1.6 MB. So if you remove XCS from here, Nux config, and you import it over there, let us try if you want to. Let us just remove this thing from here, and the search. I'm importing import XUS from XUS. Okay, and yeah, I'll just remove XUS. Yeah, this is fine. Hope this works. Let us see if the XUS call is happening. Yeah, it's happening. Okay, and let us see what was our initial bundle size. That was commons was 1.6 MB, and let us see has it been decreased. Okay, not been decreased. Maybe XUS is too small to do that. Yeah, it might be too small. Okay, maybe if we remove Bootstrap view, then this might get affected. Yeah, but this is the way you can also optimize, right? So what you should do is you should ideally import all the libraries that you are using inside the component or inside the pages, wherever you are using. Don't just, we should ignore things globally as far as possible. For some small applications, this is fine. This will, and yeah, this is for the places where you want to use everything globally. That's, for example, Bootstrap I'll need everywhere. XCS I'll need everywhere. Right? I'll need to make a API call. So that is why I'll import it globally. Yeah, for the things where we don't need them compulsory on all the pages, we should import them wherever we need. For example, if you want to put a carousel on this page, right? So you should import that carousel on the search page only. Okay. Yeah. So that is it. Now I'll yeah. So API call we have done. And yeah, scaling the main thing is, right? So I told you about the packages, right? So what ideally you should do about packages is that you have to try to import them inside the file rather than importing them globally, right? One more thing that comes in my mind regarding scaling is that the folder structure, right? So as we scale the application, you will feel that okay, my components is getting very bigger, right? It's like what should I do, because too many components are difficult to handle, right? So for that, what I usually do is, let me go to the folder structure. Yeah, so we right now, to create view files, we have two folders. One is pages directory, other one is components, right? Apart from that, I usually create a folder named models, right? So models is something in which we'll have all the pop-up models. So for example, we created this pop-up model for viewing the details of the item, right? So we can create models for that, and then log in, sign up. Every pop-up will be inside models directory, right? After that, I also create API directory, right? So we right now, if you check, we made an API call over here, right? But what, to make the code clean, right, what ideally we should do is, we should, it should be just something like this, right? So usually GitLab tells that we have to create services, or we should try to create services, right? So services are responsible for making API calls, right? So in this case, we will do something like create results, okay, for queue. Right. In the API directory that we created, we'll just create a file, let's say search.js, and we'll write our function over here. Right. We'll export this function from here and we'll import it in this file. Right. So this will make code cleaner. Right. Apart from that, we should also do linting. Right. Because I mean, if you say, if some developer saves it like this, then it will be a problem. Right. So we should always use ESLint and prettier altogether to make code cleaner, right? Or I think we can also use format document and stuff. Right. So folder structure is very important when you want to scale your application to the large. Then linting is also a very important thing. And when it comes to packages and speed improvements, then usually try to use the library where inside the components. If you follow just this thing, using your app using Nuxt will be much faster than the using it modular, right? Because even you saw it right now, right? We have like okay, this is wrong code, but yeah, we have a common file which is around 1.6 MB, right? Which is just because of Bootstrap. Right. So what, because ideally, what will happen in the enterprise application or in the larger application, there will be tons of packages that we use. Right. It may be 10, 20, 30 packages and modules. Right. So we should try to import them inside the component rather than importing them globally. Right. Even what I do is, I don't use Bootstrap View directly. I usually import all the components of Bootstrap View manually inside my view files. Right. I usually, I just have XUS as global. I don't do this, right? I write a CSS different, and then also optimize those CSS files. Remove one. Let's say I do not use tables on my side, then I just remove those tables. If I don't use card on my side, then I use cards as CSS files, right? So as far as possible, use modules in the cases which are globally used. Apart from that, we should try to ignore. And if you follow just these two metrics, don't import globally and import everything locally, your app will be much optimized, like from any perspective, from all the perspective, right? So yeah, so today we learned about, if you want to check this app, I have deployed it to uh, now Vercel. What's all, what was the domain? Let me go and check. I think that was around all about web demo or something. Yep, AAW. Okay. Yeah. So let me. Uh, I'll share a screen. I'll share a link with Gaurav, and you can share it with the others.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the full application, and there is a GitHub link. Search. I mean, or you can try it out. There is also a presentation link in the this thing. So yeah, that's it from my end, and yeah, so we are like, we can take questions, Gaurav.
Yeah, so thank you, Tarun, for your time. So
Yeah.
we'll be sharing the links on all about web Twitter handle. So even Tarun, if you
Yeah.
want, you can share it on yours, and we can retweet it from there so everyone gets it. Okay.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
So that was really a lovely session, and we got to
Thank you.
know about how Vue.js work. I wanted to try Vue.js since a long time, but yeah, I
Uh-huh.
never got a time for that.
Yeah.
But I promise you I'll do that. Anyway,
Yeah.
other than that, let's see if we have so many questions.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
let's wait for a minute. Let's see if we have someone who's asking something, then we can actually do that. So
Yeah, for
other
sure.
than that, I wanted to ask one thing. Like, what do you suggest? Like, should we actually use Bootstrap? Or many people are, like right now suggesting that if you can write your own CSS framework because it's very
Yeah.
easy
So
actually using collections, CSS scripts, and all these things.
let me tell you. So for that, what I do is I usually go to GitHub,
Okay.
Twitter Bootstrap, and yeah, I just download this Bootstrap. Right. So what I do is
Oh,
not don't
okay.
download main or master branch. Okay, download the tag
Okay.
because that's a work in progress, right? So I
Mhm.
go to
Right.
let's say
Right.
4.5.2. I just download this code. I might have that, I suppose. Bootstrap. Okay, let us just download this. Which won't be a problem. Right. After that, I just copy the SCSS files from Bootstrap to my code. Right. So let's say I want to
Okay.
let us just open this up. Right. So Bootstrap has like tons of other things, right? So they have multiple types of CSS, which is there for obviously multiple purposes, right? So when you open up a Bootstrap main file, they have imported everything over here.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So what I do is I just comment out many of them. Like I don't need print, I don't need utilities. I'll need a spinner, carousel, popover, tooltip. I won't need. I don't need toast. I don't need let's say media also because it's just a display flags. Right? Progress, alert. Sometimes jumbotron. Obviously, I think no one is using jumbotron. Why is that? Right. Base sometimes we need, pagination we need, a breadcrumb sometimes, card, I think most I don't use it. Right. So I just copy, paste and edit Bootstrap on my own. Right. And
Ah.
if you just want to use Bootstrap grid, then they have given a separate file for that too. So you will just
Okay.
be able to use Bootstrap grid. Yeah. But I usually use
Yes.
the whole Bootstrap with commenting out the thing.
That's a really insightful way to do that.
Yeah.
So
Tables,
right
everything.
now
I just
the
remove.
demo right now I think we use the the full version, right?
Yeah.
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 So
Right
that's
now,
why like
yeah. Yeah, that is why that was 1.6 MB. So our initial bundle was 1.6 MB, but yeah, after compression it will decrease obviously. But I don't do this thing. I mean, I hate like I do not use modules as far as possible. We'll have to keep
that's
XUS, yeah, but we won't.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
That's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. And then if you are using Bootstrap, then what you can do is let's say I have put it in assets folder, then SCSS, then Bootstrap dot SCSS. Okay, so we have
Yeah.
CSS this thing over here in the Nuxt, and you can just import it over here and it will work. And yeah, you will have to import add this node SAS and stuff.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, but this will work
Yeah.
like flawlessly. I mean, this is very good to use.
So even this Nuxt.js, does it have in-house support for server-side rendering as well?
Yes, it's they do have support for server side rendering. If you want to see, let me show you. I'll just convert it to SPA to universal
Okay.
mode. Okay, so okay, and okay, let me remove that CSA because that's not there. That was just for demo.
Yes.
And do we have Bootstrap? Okay, so I'm saving this file.
Okay. Now it's building like a server-side also, right?
Yes, yeah, it will build server application also. So earlier there was client only if you see at the top, but now it has
Yes.
server.
Yes.
That and where is my code? Yeah, so let us refresh this page. So it will take time. Now you see it is taking time, right? Why? Because it's making an API call and showing us the results. That we
Okay.
did not see any loading over here right now. And if we go to code, we will see like all our code over here. So yeah, so there are meta. Yeah, there are meta. See SSR and everything. Title
That's
is
really nice.
there.
It was so simple.
Yeah, it's so simple. I mean, this is the
Oh,
API response that we received, and yeah, this is the whole
yeah.
HTML.
Right.
Yeah, and
That's really
see,
great.
this is yeah, this is great, and yeah, there is this CSS, Bootstrap CSS, right? So once we, this is very large. Ideally, if you see, this is very large, right?
Yes.
So that's why
Right.
I just
Agree.
remove. I do not use default CSS. I just customize it. So I keep
Uh,
the CSS I need for all the pages in the main file and then use it everywhere. And
that's
as
nice.
I
I
told
really
you,
need to.
like, yeah, and all the
Uh-huh.
pages, all the routing is optimized, store is also optimized, right? So most of things are optimized. What we have to do is, let's say I want to use carousel, right? So there is a view carousel for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I should do is, rather than importing it globally somewhere, right? So usually we have a habit of, for shortcut we just use a module over here. Let's say view carousel, right? So don't do this, right? If you have a search component or let's say item navbar component, so import it over here. So any webpack or any bundler is like a tree, right? So what you have to do is you have to make more and more branches. That's it, right? So
True.
import the things wherever you need. So it's like a leaves, like put a leaves where you need. Don't put it in the base trunk or somewhere,
That's nice.
right?
That's really nice. I think I need to try Vue.js as soon as possible. That's great. Are you still there, Tarun? I think I lost you.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Hello.
So yeah, so there was
Yeah.
like a little lag, so I was wondering. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I
So
can feel that. Yes.
no worries. Okay, so we got a comment that they love your session. So that's really great.
Thank you.
So I don't think we have any questions right now. So
Hmm.
that's all right. I think that would be it for now. So
Yeah,
thank you,
and feel
Tarun.
free. Yeah, feel free to. I mean, anyone from the community, feel free to reach out me or on Twitter for any performance or even how to, you can do a well written view or Nuxt app, right? So you can contact
Yes,
me.
yes.
Yeah,
Right. Sure, of course, of
and
course.
yeah, and let's connect over Twitter.
Yes, and congratulations for fourth year of Icon Scout. You
Thank
guys are
you.
doing
Thank you.
really amazing work over there. So
Yes.
even like other people from the community actually messaged me personally that they really loved the session, that how much we were able to achieve in such a small time, and how
Hmm.
like we can orchestrate a very wonderful code using
We can,
Vue.js.
I think we can do like what not to do while coding or while doing an infrastructure or something, because we have done a lot of mistakes. So I do have a lot of experiences from there.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So that's it right now. So as guys, all the viewers who are here, so basically this is like a list of sessions that are going on right now, one by one. So the next session is by Ashok. Ashok is actually talking about how we can leverage the functional components in React, and how it can actually make React, your React code much better and more performant.
Hmm.
So the link is here. If you can see on the screen, there's bit.ly/AAW-Ashok. So you can join us over there and learn more about it. Cool. So we'll be closing this link now. And thank you so much, everyone who joined in. Bye bye. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.